You're good to go? Excellent. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk to Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle C. Baker. And before I introduce you to our amazing guest today, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to whichever channel you're listening to or watching from. So, today, as you all know, I always say this, I have an amazing guest, and I'm really excited to introduce you to this particular guest because I just I love the way she presents herself. I love her content. I love everything that she talks about because she just puts it out there, no sugarcoating. It's all there it is. We need to talk about this. And that's all I'm about as well. So I definitely wanted to have her on, and I'm excited that she accepted to come on and share some of her wisdom. So I will introduce you today to Rosalean Batool. And thank you again, Rosalind, for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel so honored to be on this podcast with you. So I'm Rosalind Batool, and I help female alpha CEOs, alpha entrepreneurs cultivate their feminine orgasmic energy by playing more, by living in purpose and living in their pleasure. So I'm so happy to be here today, Danielle.
Oh, that's amazing, and I love that because that's a topic that I'm really interested in, and we'll elaborate a little bit more. But yeah, for women in any kind of business, we tend to take the male energy, that approach of the hustle and let's go. But we are very different beings, so it is important to keep our divine feminine alive, and that's what you're all about. And I love that. Before we get started with the work that you do, can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I've always done coaching. So I was an anti-bullying counselor when I was in high school. When I was 11, I was coaching young kids on how to overcome bullying and just, giving them some advice and, making sure that they feel good about themselves. And then when I was 15, I learned hypnotherapy, but I didn't know it was called hypnotherapy then. Something that my mom gave me. She gave me a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And in that book, he talks about hypnosis. So it's about talking better to yourself, learning to cultivate your mindset. So I was learning that from the age of 15 to 16. And then fast forward to 2017, obviously I forgot all about coaching and hypnotherapy. I was a rebellious teenager. I went through my rebellious stage. I finished my law degree, and then I decided to become a teacher. So I was abroad teaching English, and then my mom passed away in 2017. And it was then that I realized that she had died with all her dreams. So for my mom, she was a big dreamer. She used to dream about having her own business. She used to dream about helping people. She used to always have this kind of urge to help. So I realized in that moment that she just died with all of her dreams inside of her, but she passed on this wisdom to me of how to remain positive in your mindset, how to cultivate your feminine energy, and how to just, make better decisions in life. So when I came back to the UK, I was pregnant with my third child. And I was going through a divorce as well. So in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, it couldn't get any worse. My mom's died. I'm heavily pregnant. I'm going through a divorce, and I was facing homelessness as well because I couldn't figure out the rent. I couldn't figure out where to live. So I just remember praying one night and saying, you know what, God, I don't know what to do. I'm in this rut. And I remember hearing something saying, just one more day, Rosie, just one more day. Just hold on for one more day. And that day came. All praise to God, that day has come. I decided to go into coaching. I decided to learn more about hypnotherapy. I decided to just go all in with my business. And I did it from a place of love, not from a place of hustle. Even though I was in a situation where I was homeless, even though I was in a situation where I needed money, I never did it for money. I did it for love. And now I stand with a multi-six-figure business. I'm married to my forever husband. We have 5 children. I have 2 more children with him, 5 children altogether. And we live by the beach in Gambia. And I'm really living my best life in my femininity. I love it here.
Oh. That is such an amazing story. Oh, wow. That was just, I got goosebumps just listening to it. And that I'm going to live by that one more day. Just give it one more day. I'm absolutely going to live by that. You kind of answered that. Your story kind of answers the question that I had for you. But is there a defining moment when you personally realized that when you started your business, that the hustle, that energy coming in wasn't going to work for you at all?
Oh, yes, definitely. So I remember I had this. So my kids, they were very young at that time. So I think obviously I had a baby, And then my other youngest was 2 years old. And then I had my 6-year-old boy. So I remember putting them to bed at 7 p.m. I'm like, guys, you can go play in the bedroom. I'm going to go work. But then it was just that I remember feeling so restricted. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I forcing myself into the structure that doesn't fit with me? Because me, I'm the type of person, I like to play a lot. I'm very creative. I like to give myself time before I work. And I used to think this was really bad. I used to believe I was unproductive. So I would say to myself, no, I'm going to reward myself with like maybe a hot chocolate after I work. And it never works for me. It never works for me. I have to give myself the hot chocolate first, and then I'm going to go work because I don't
I
care.
love that.
I'm not rewarding myself with hot chocolate. You can never make me reward myself with anything. Like I am the prize. I had to train my mind to make myself believe I'm the prize, I'm valuable, I'm worthy. And if I don't feel good in myself, I'm not going to create great work. So I have to make myself feel good, make myself feel valuable, and that's what's going to create this amazing business.
I love that. I love it. I could listen to you already. I could just listen to you all day. It's like I leave this. I love it. I'm the prize. The hot
I'm the
chocolate
prize.
is not the prize. I'm the prize. I love it. And it's just that little switch that you need, and everybody's different, so they have their own switch. But just that fact to say, why am I doing it this way? Because everybody else, or I'm expected to do it that way. So I think that's incredible. Start with hot chocolate. You're the prize. I love it. Now, what advice would you give to women who are either starting their business or they're at the breaking point in their business where they're thinking, there's got to be something better. I don't enjoy myself anymore. What advice would you give them to be able to lead a successful business or a successful life while keeping the sacred feminine intact? Or, incorporating it into their routine or their schedules?
Oh, I love that. It's such a good question. So I think all of us have forgotten how to play. And this is what happens when we're so masculine. As women, we're naturally creative. Like when you look at feminine energy, you have 3 kinds of energies within it: sexual energy, creative energy, and intuitive energy. So it's like feminine energy is wild, it's unhinged, it's elegant, it's soft, it's nurturing, it's caring, it's so many different, it's fierce, it's powerful. So you have so many energies within you that requires you to play so that you can bring all of that out of you. So what I like to say is have a pleasure plan. So a pleasure plan is 3 things that will really help you feel like you've given yourself what you need to help you get through the day. So for me, it's playing with my kids. I have 5 children. I love playing with them. They know how to have fun. You just give them give them like something to do, and they will make it fun. Like they could make string fun. It's just so amazing to be around them. So get childlike. If you don't have kids, like get childlike, go to the playground. And you will find when you're in the playground and you're like, oh my God, this is so stupid. This is so icky. This is so weird. That means
Yeah.
you're so used to being your masculine energy. I want you to go to the playground, sit on the swings or go down the slide and feel yourself having fun. Okay. So you can put in a pleasure plan, hot chocolate, and play
Yeah.
with my kids. Me, I personally, I love to like get dressed up. Like I wear makeup, I wear red lipstick, I do my hair, I wear my bodycon dresses. I make sure I feel sexy in the day. Like I give myself an hour in the morning, have a shower, do my hair, wear my makeup, wear my dresses, and just feel so sexy. That's what makes me feel alive and well and in my feminine energy. So number 1 thing is get playful. If you don't know how to, if you don't know what like turns you on in that orgasmic way, to go to the playground, have some fun, and the ideas will come to your mind because you're letting go of structure. You're letting yourself flow, and your feminine energy will just come out and be like, oh yeah, next time I can do this, and next time I can do that, or this feels like fun. And you're going to start getting ideas.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you need to keep that inner child alive, and I find that as the same as. I think that's why I gravitated to working with children, because that was my way to say, I would grow up so structured and so no, and do the work and then play. So that if I got to play with children all day, that was good enough for me. It would keep
Oh
me
my
sane.
gosh, right?
You can't
I
be
love
you can't be more in the
that.
present than when you're in a room with 24 3-year-olds. You're
Oh,
definitely in the
wow.
present. So once I moved away from that, I started realizing that I was going back to the old ways. So that was one of the questions that I wanted to talk to you, because as women, we are taught to give up who we are to be able to
Mm.
have success. We are taught, that we need to act this way if we want to lead a business. There's that stigma still. So what would you suggest or recommend to help us kind of deprogram what we were taught so that we don't go back to those old ways because when we start, it's all exciting, but then we find ourselves going back to the old way. But what would be your advice on that, or what would you recommend that we do?
Yeah, so when you find yourself hustling or you find yourself trying to like achieve more and you don't feel fulfilled, it's because you're not giving yourself something. There's a need that you're not giving yourself. And usually it's just attention. So what it is, when you have grown up in a masculine structure, like we've all been through school, we've all been programmed that a good worker or a successful person is on time and makes money and is just structured. But as a feminine woman, you are a magnet for miracles. Literally. I say this to all my clients. My husband has to go out and work hard. If he's not working hard, he will feel depressed. A woman, when she works hard, she gets depressed, right? She's working
Right.
hard. We feel alive when we don't have structure, when we have that a bit that we have that space to flow, when we have that space to explore and be in our imagination and get creative. So when you feel like you're going down this way towards burnout, bring it back and ask yourself, what do I need? And you're probably trying to get a validation, or you're probably trying to prove yourself. You're trying to prove that you can be rich. You're trying to prove that you can make it. You're trying to prove that you can be successful. And if you're doing that, it's because you're not giving yourself love. You've taught yourself that if I earn more, if I do more, then I'll be more lovable. And that's not how it works. You are born lovable. You were born worthy. You were born with all the beliefs that will help you live an abundant life. It's about going back to that by asking yourself, what do I need? And usually what it looks like is this. Let's say, for example, you're working really hard. You're getting frustrated. Maybe the clients are not coming in. Maybe you're not making the money you want. Maybe your business is not as successful as you thought it would have been 6 months, a year in. What you're going to do in that moment is say, you know what, I'm going to step away from work and I'm going to give myself what I need. If that looks like going to bed, going to sleep, that looks like crying, because another thing that us women have been taught, that crying is bad. But our first language was to cry. Our first language was, I'm going to cry and my parents are going to give me what I need. So in that moment that you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, you have to take a step away from your business and get creative. And the way you get creative, say, you know what do I need right now? Oh, I need a hug. Oh, I need some love. Oh, I need to call up my girlfriends and hang out with them. Oh, I need to go to that shop and get a hot chocolate. Or I need to go to that bookstore and read a book. I just need to be away in a different energy so that I can open up my mind to more abundance. And usually it always works.
That is incredible. That's everything that you just said is like you put a big mirror right in front of me and be like, this wake up call. No, you're absolutely right. And for any men who are listening right now, it's a very valid point, is that if men don't feel like they're structured and on track and hustling, they go depressed. Women, it's the opposite. And that is true. I've lived it myself. When we don't have that outlet for creativity or to be ourselves, that's where you hit that deep hole. So for supportive men out there who want to help their partner, keep that in mind, that it's the opposite of what you need that she needs. So I just absolutely love it. Thank you. And go for that hot chocolate, girl. we all need to go for it. I'm a coffee person, but then now I want that hot chocolate.
Oh my God.
I love
I
it.
love my hot chocolate.
Yes, I love it. And then there's nothing more. It's a treat for children. Like if you want to play and be creative and be childlike, this is definitely the drink for you.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, you mentioned that that's one of the first things that you talk about with your clients. Can you share with us a little bit of the transformations that you've seen with the people that you work with?
Oh gosh, there are so many. I want to give you some actually. So there's an alpha woman. She's so successful, running a business. I think she was hitting millions, but she was so burnt out, and she was actually going through IVF for 3 years. And after working with me for, I think it was 3 sessions we had, or she was in my coaching program for 30 days. We purged so much shame that was in her womb around not being good enough, because she felt like no matter how much she achieved, it was never enough. Like she didn't know what enough felt like. So we purged the shame in her womb, and then like, oh praise to God, a few months later she found out she was pregnant, which I
Oh,
was just like, 3 years of infertility, IVF. And 3 months later, she was pregnant. Now she had a baby, full term, natural as well. She was so afraid of having like a terrible birth, but she had it naturally. She was so happy. And I've had this with a few other clients as well. I had another client who was in the corporate world, and she was working so hard in corporate. Her adrenals were out of whack. She had adrenal fatigue. She had cysts on her ovaries. She has so many menstrual health problems. Then after working with me, I think for 2-3 months, she also fell pregnant and she had a baby. Oh no, sorry, she got married first. She found her soulmate, and then a few months later got pregnant, and then she had her baby as well. Another lady that I want to talk about, she had and I find all my clients have women health problems like in their womb. They have infertility, menstrual cycles out of whack, they have adrenal fatigue, they have endometrial, I can't even pronounce it, endometritis, I can't pronounce. So when you have fibroids in your womb, they have all these problems. You know why? Because they're hustling. They're hustling, trying to prove their worth. And this is the point I want to make. You have a womb, you're worthy enough. You have a womb that supports life. That makes you worthy. And in our religion, in Islam, we are taught that when a woman is pregnant, the angel comes to her womb and breathes the life in her womb. So your womb is touched by an angel when you're pregnant. That I want you to realize just how powerful you are. You support life. And the fact that you support life makes you a magnet. You don't have to hustle to make money. You don't have to grind. You don't have to burn out. All you have to do is lean back in your femininity, respond to life, get into flow, get creative, get imaginative, because you're very good at it, get childlike. And the more you become that, the more you feel that way, I promise you, like I've seen in my life, I promise you, you will attract all things abundance. You will be more richer, more healthier, feeling more sexier, find your soulmate, get married, have your family, have your dog, therefore I'm pregnant, living on your farm, like you're gonna live your best life, but you just have to be in your feminine energy. And this is what I do with my clients. When you purge that shame in the womb and you rewire your subconscious mind around hustling and success, that's really like that's really the breaking point for my clients, that they end up becoming their feminine selves and embody their true selves.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good. And I invite everybody to rewind and re-listen to this part because it is so vital. And I've seen it as well with my clients. That wound, that wounded womb, and even if you're not planning on having children, because we talked about how it's just naturally all of a sudden they are able to have a baby, but it is at the root of everything. And I love how you said that it's because of the hustle that you start getting all of these issues. And you look at so many other literature, and it all comes down to the same thing. And we can sustain life. That's more than enough for everybody.
Okay.
You don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to prove yourself. You're just being you is more than enough. I love that. Again, I could talk to you all day about this, but
Right.
I wanted to get your take on this because people who are listening, and I've lived this personally a few years back when I was at my rock bottom, and I was at the point where I didn't even know what brought me joy, what made me happy. I didn't even know if I liked hot chocolate anymore. Like I was at that point. So what advice would you give women who really do want to bring back that sacred feminine in them, but there's something that they could do today or tomorrow just to really start stirring that up and see what it looks like for them, so that they can actually start working on it?
Yeah, so what I want you to do, I want you to get barefoot. If you have a garden, that'd be great. If you don't, go to the park, get barefoot, get in the grass. As a feminine woman, you are connected to nature more than the man. And this is what makes us, like, I'm sorry to brag, but us feminine women are so powerful. Sorry to the men, but you guys have to hustle. We don't. Okay. We get things come so easily. You guys have to work hard. And that's your business. Like, I love that for you. But for me, being in nature, being connected to the earth is what's going to bring back scientific studies have shown that it decompresses your nervous system, it regulates your nervous system, it helps electricity flow through your body because we're electrical beings, we have energy flowing through our body, it helps us connect to ourselves, and for some scientists say it releases trauma too, because when you touch your foot to the earth, you are taking in all the nutrients, you're taking in all that energy. And think about it, trees are like wonderful. They don't need you to grow. They're just there. Like, do you ever wonder how a tree grew that strong and big? No, it's just there. That's powerful energy. And as women, we have that ability to soak in all that energy and turn it into something creative, turn it into something playful. And it doesn't have to be creative to achieve something. When I say creative, I mean in the sense of what can you do that's going to make you feel more childlike. So creativity is linked to childlike behavior. You know how you work with 3-year-olds, you see how creative they are, how
Yeah.
childlike that they play, just color all day long, they color on the walls, they don't care. Like in their minds,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh my God, the world is amazing, I'm so free. This is what it
Yeah.
does. When you get barefoot in nature, you walk in the grass, you walk in the soil, it helps you cultivate your creative nature and helps you cultivate your feminine energy. So that would be my number one thing. The second one would be the pleasure plan and figuring out what turns you on, what makes you feel playful, what makes you feel creative. Just like I was saying, hot chocolate for me. Like I have to have my hot chocolate. I don't care how much it costs. I will never pinch pennies and try and save on hot chocolate. I will always buy hot chocolate. So figure out what helps you stay childlike as well.
That's great. And it's the possibilities are endless there. There's no, it's not that one thing you need to do to be able to be happy. It's whatever works for you. And that may change as well later on, you might find you're gravitating towards something else. So I think that's wonderful. I love it. Yeah. Now, because you're a busy woman, how do you balance everything, work, home life, everything that life throws at you? What works for you?
So my intention has always been to hire as much support, and I think this is what a lot of us women we struggle with as when we're in our wounded feminine. We don't like asking for help. We think it's a sign of weakness. We say to ourselves, "Oh my God, like let me be the mother. Let me just take everything on. Let me just carry all the weight on my shoulders." But that doesn't help you. So very early on in my business, I hired a VA. I made sure I've always had support. So I have a VA who just posts my content. All I do is create. I have a nanny at home. I have a chef. I have a private driver. I have so many people who support me. And you know what I do? I hold the intention. Now, whatever money I make, I'm going to pay people. I'm going to make other people rich too. I'm going to help them get better in their lives too. Like, I don't want to take all the money for myself. I want people to be richer than me. So the people that I pay them really well. Like, I pay them 10 times their wage normally. Like, the wage that they get is amazing. And for me, it feels good to do that because I want to support people. This is feminine energy. So that's been my number one thing, always asking for help. Even for my husband, like if I feel like I'm getting stressed out, I'm like, babe, I need some help. Can you help me? And men love problem solving. So when I come to him with a problem, he's always solving it for me. So I made it a thing for me to like, okay, if I'm struggling, I'm not going to struggle alone. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to ask someone. I'm going to ask my coach. Oh yeah, another thing, I invest in coaches, 100%. I have to invest in coaches because, as women, we get stuck in our feelings. And sometimes, even though you're the best at what you do, sometimes you need the outer perspective to hold up the space for you to express yourself. So I always invest in coaches. I make sure I have the best coaches like on my side, mindset coaches, business coaches, spiritual coaches too. But yeah, I think the main thing is having a support system. That's very important.
That is amazing. You're just giving us gold all the way through today with just asking help alone is something that we're almost afraid to do. It's seen as a weakness almost for women. And asking your man for help is that's because that's how I grew up. You don't need a man to live. You don't need, a man to support you. So asking a partner for help was definitely not an option for me, and then that has a strain on the relationship as well. So I love that. And the fact, and you brought another good point, is there's that stigma of wealth where it's almost seen as a bad thing if you do accumulate wealth. But the fact that you are helping other people get wealthy, that's what you have to look at. You're multiplying it, and that's just a beautiful gift. I love that. Oh, again, I could talk to you. I could keep going. I could keep going, but I love what you're saying. And again, I invite everybody to re-listen to this to make sure that these messages stick, because it's important for everybody to hear it. I wondering anything new that you're working on right now. What are you currently working on or building up to at this point?
Okay, so right now what I'm working on is I'm relaunching my 8-week program, Sacred Feminine Pleasure. It's all for alpha women, CEO, female entrepreneurs. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not a businesswoman, but you know you're in your masculinity and you want to learn how to cultivate your feminine energy. So it's an 8-week program where we rewire and heal your abundance wounds around 8 areas of life. And the reason why probably you've been in other healing programs and it hasn't worked is because you haven't gone through these 8 areas. So it's money, love, success, confidence, authenticity, feminine energy, intuition, God, faith, religious trauma, and then sexual energy and health. So when you go through these, when you heal your abundance wounds and you rewire your subconscious mind around all these areas of life, I'm telling you, you're going to have lifelong transformation. Like I still have ladies who joined the first round last year. They are still getting transformations. Like they're saying that it keeps coming. I keep healing. I haven't gone back to my old ways. I haven't gone back to my masculinity. I haven't gone back to feeling depressed. I haven't gone back to feeling anxious because they've been able to get to the root cause. And the root cause is always like, you're not standing in your truth. When you stand in your truth, you stand in your confidence, you know who you are, everything else will fall into place. You'll make more money, you'll get richer, you'll get healthier, you feel sexier, you feel more stronger emotionally, spiritually, when you become truthful in who you are. And what I mean by that is confronting yourself, learning how to confront yourself and hold yourself accountable, which is true feminine energy. Like, I know like we like talking about the soft stuff, like, the stuff that makes us feel great, but also feminine energy is learning to go within and say, you know what can I improve here? Where can I hold myself accountable? Where can I respond better? How can I, hold myself responsible for this feeling? What can I do with this emotion? Because usually what we do is we react. And when you're in your masculinity for so long, you can get triggered over everything. I know, because I used to be this way. I know a lot of my clients, when they're in their masculinity, get triggered by, like posts about sex, posts about being orgasmic, posts about getting married, having children. It can trigger you, of course. But this is what we explore with Feminine Pleasure. I help you explore that possibility that you are a multi-dimensional being having a human experience, and you get to explore all parts of yourself.
That is incredible. That is a wonderful program. Yeah. Before I ask you how people can sign up or how they can get in touch with you, I want to ask this one last question, and I know I'm gonna love your answer because you absolutely get it. But I'll give you a bit of a background. I haven't explained it to you. There's a little girl a few years back who was interviewing adults for a school project, and she was asking them what every adult asks a child. She was asking this one question, and nobody would answer her. They said, well, she would get so frustrated because she wasn't getting an answer, and her mother just said, stop asking. It's that simple. And the girl didn't want to. She said, no, somebody's going to get it. And when she interviewed me, I answered right away. So she was all happy. She told her mom, you see, I told you somebody would get it. So I made her a promise. That I would ask everybody I interview that same question, and that question. And I can't wait to hear your answers. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give you a hint. I want to be a great grandma.
Oh, yes. Yes. I love that.
I can just imagine, like, this is my dream. I want to be on a private island, have my private jet, and have all my great grandchildren around me. Like, I just want to be I want to pass down that wisdom, that ancestral wisdom to my great grandchildren. Like, I want to be alive that long to just be around them and give them love and help them navigate through life. Like, that's who I really want to be. This is wise, old woman living her best life around her grandchildren. Just on my private island, my private jet.
I love it. That's precious. That is beautiful. This great grandma on the beach just enjoying life. I love it. This is why I love this question, because the answers are all over the place, but it's always something amazing. And I absolutely love this great grandma. I love it.
Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how can people, reach you, contact you, follow you, and if they're interested in the program that you're offering as well, or the other programs that you have? What is the best way to see where you are?
Yes, and you can find me on Instagram, Rosalean Batool, in one lowercase, only one word, and you can send me a DM, SFP, and I will give you more information about the program.
Oh, excellent. And I will add that to the comments and in the description of this episode as well, so people can contact you. Thank you so much, Rosalean. Honestly, I could keep going all day. But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. That was just beautiful. So much gold that you've given us. And I encourage everybody to go on your pages and see what else you do, because you give such incredible content. And thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this.
Thank you, Danny. Oh my God, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful conversation. Thank you for your questions. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yes, I hope this podcast reaches millions and it, changes the minds of millions of women.
Yes, that's what we want to do, right? Just make life easier
Bye.
for people and not sugarcoat it. Just tell it as it is and reach as many people as we can. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for everybody who is listening and watching, don't forget again to like, follow, and subscribe. Make sure that you follow Rosalind as well and her wonderful work. And until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll talk soon.